Hello, hello, hello. Genomics here, aka Team Juju 365, here for another recap slash review and my opinionated, detailed review of HBO's Insecure, last night's episode, season 1, episode 6. Man, the first freaking 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, just had me dying. Molly and Enterprise guy, which I don't know why I can't remember. I keep just not remembering his name. It's just hilarious. Anyway, so we start off with Miss Issa, on her way home after her melanin black on black rendezvous, Mr. Daniel from last week's episode. Okay, that dreaded. Oh my God, and they had a dramatic music playing in the beginning. Just that dreaded moment when you have to say something that you don't want to say, or decide if you should say it or not. She pulls up, looks at the apartment, and I swear for that moment I did not know she was having a premonition in her brain, because she goes into her head and tries to think what would happen if this and that happened by this step 1, step 2 type process. But they play it off so easy when you think it's actually happening. So basically she goes into her mind again. They didn't show you that she went into her mind. It just went like scene after scene where she comes out the car, she goes in the house, he's saying, hey baby, what's up, how's work? And she was saying fine, and he's like, hey, what's wrong with you? She's like, oh, I'm just trying to figure out how to tell you this. And she was like, oh, I slept with my ex. So she started saying, oh, it just happened, it didn't mean anything, I love you. He slapped the shit out of I'm sorry, before the slap he was like, what? I don't want your sloppy seconds, bitch. And he slapped the shit out of her. And right when he slapped her, it's like he slapped her back into reality, because in the next scene she's in the car like this. So it didn't even really happen. She was thinking in her mind that that's what would happen if she told him. I was freaking dying. But I kept sitting in the car like, girl, don't tell him. I'm not condoning cheating, but you've been with him 5 years. You had your little bump in the road. You still feeling your ex, but I didn't even realize Daniel was her ex. I thought it was one of those one that got away type moments. Like I knew they had a crush on her since high school, but I could have sworn they had a conversation where he was apologizing for never going through with it, because he was saying he wasn't ready, or he wasn't at that right place, but he was ready now. So I thought they were never together. I thought they just never made it that far. But I guess he was an ex, and then that was it. So, okay, what happened? So now, replay, she walks in the house, he's saying, hey baby, how's work? She was saying, fine, and he's like, you alright? You look, whatever. So, no, I'm just really tired or whatever. So she ended up not telling him. Okay, but I'm just going to stay with the Issa story. Y'all know how I do. I'm going to stay with character by character, unless in mind I can see how they can coincide. But, so, by the next day, she's waking up, making him breakfast. She's like, oh, we should go on a date night. We haven't had that in a while. And he's like, oh, okay, sure, yeah, cool, I'm cool with that, or whatever. I'm just like, P, just relax. I know it's a secret, but at the same time, if you choose not to tell the person, you should act completely normal. That's what I say. Act normal. Because what you don't say through your mouth, you are definitely saying it through your actions. And if you've never cooked for him before, from the way his expression was, and haven't regularly gone out in a long time, and you never suggested it before, and all of a sudden you suggested it now, it's just, he's a guy, so obviously he's like, if it was reversed and Lawrence was doing that, she would have picked up that something was off, that he did something, or whatever, and now he's trying to hide it through his actions. But men slow. They need, it's not that they're slow, they just need direct proof of something. Or they have to directly see it. They don't pick up little hints here and there of stuff. We girls, we have that, ESP type, extrasensory type thing where we just know something's wrong. Something ain't right. Something ain't right in the cooking. You know what I mean? So, he's like, yeah, cool, whatever. I'm just sitting there like, yo, you doing too much, B, relax. You doing too much. Anyway, so, they showed them going to the mall. Like I said, they age looked really good. Had a nice, cute little dress on with a little back cut out. It was cute. And they decided to walk into a ring store. She was like, oh, why you want? Well, a jewelry store. She was like, why you want to go in there? He was like, oh, I want to get a tongue ring, whatever. So they walk in there. First of all, that's how you know marriage was never even on the table. Or they never talked about it after 5 years or something. For her, if a guy's gonna suggest us to go to a jewelry store, I guess it maybe because she's not girly, but a real girly girl, you're gonna know he's talking about or thinking about proposing. But her action was so nonchalant, she had no idea that's what was on her mind. Like, she's like, oh, whatever, you want to go to a jewelry store. So they walk in there, and he says some fancy name or whatever. She was like, oh, what you know about that or whatever. And so the guy pulls up, some sample rings, and he picked one. No, she picked one, put it on her arm. And he was like, She's looking at it. And now it dawned on her like, oh, shit, he might be thinking of asking me to marry. So so when that happens, freaking Daniel flashed in her brain. And she was like, oh, no, I'm feeling sick or whatever. I'm pretty tired. We need to get out of here, whatever. She took the ring off. I'm like, would you relax? Yo, would you relax? Matter of fact, I skipped the scene. When she came home that same night, was it before the mall? Yeah, it was before the mall. When she came home that same night, he was trying to get some. And she was like, he started kissing her, whatever. She was trying to get into it. But like every move she started to make, she was just thinking about Daniel. Like it just flashed back to, her back riding him and his butt doing his thing. And she was like, now in real life. In real life. Okay. It's nasty. Okay. I think it's nasty. If you had a dick one in a few hours on the dick, that is nasty. But at the same time, girl, get your needs. He is your boyfriend. Okay, so you have to act normal. So you should have gave him to him. I'm sorry. Go take your ass a shower, douche if you need to, and you should have gave him to him. That's my opinion. Okay, especially if you was not gonna tell him the secret anyway. If it was gonna bother you that much, you should have already told him instead of being all, acting completely unnatural than you normally act in a relationship. So. Now, mind you, Daniel is texting her, and she's not replying. She's completely ignoring the situation, and that's not good, too. And when she was ignoring him, all I kept thinking was, they're going to run into each other. Because obviously this town is small. When she ran into Lawrence that time, when she was avoiding him, I'm like, okay, this town is small, she's going to run into him. But the whole episode, she didn't run into him. So that was interesting. And, of course, half of the episode, she didn't tell Molly. We're going to get to Molly. We are going to get to Molly in a minute. Okay, so now, let's see. Issa is back at her job. Okay, and they're forming another project, and everyone's throwing suggestions like, oh, we should take him into Malibu. We should take him basically to all these far places to try these different things. And Issa's like, well, why do we need to go that far? Like, we're trying to show these kids they can do these great things just right there in their neighborhood, in their, in their backyard. A lot of these kids are unfortunate and do not have this money. Like, why are we taking them to these places that they probably can't go right now? So everyone's trying to shut her down or ignore her or whatever, and she's, as usual, looking around or whatever. Mind you, her boss is already on her back thinking that she doesn't appreciate her job and her position, and she hired her for a certain reason. So, mind you, her assistant, whatever, usually is on her side or whatever, but her face was looking like she wanted to say something, but she didn't. Like, I guess she just reverted back to her inferior self, which is kind of a yes woman. So the boss was like, I think it's a great idea. And I was like, yes, I do too. So the boss was there like, girl, you ain't saying nothing the first time. So that got approved. Good job, Issa. Okay, and then let's see, Issa comes back home, and she's just, the thing is still bothering her or whatever. There's a scene where, mind you, last episode Danny was supposed to help take the video down, but he never did. So when she comes home, he goes, Lawrence goes, well, I have a surprise for you, and showed the laptop, and then her video was removed. She was like, how this happened or whatever, and he was like, oh, I called my such or whatever, and they went and took it out. She's off every website. Like, even if you type it, like, maybe your name will pop up, but that's it. The video's completely off the net, period. She just started crying and bawling this crazy, goofy cry. And she was like, oh, I just love you so much. He was like, oh, it's nothing. It's not a big deal. Well, of course, it's extra big deal for her because she's feeling guilty. Guilty about that dark chocolate Disney that she had the night before. I'm like, oh, that chick was popping. He was moving them hips like, okay, we're not talking about that. We on a new episode. So fast forward to Miss Dolly, okay? She's waking up, because remember last week, she broke off with Jandena, whatever his name is, and drunk and walked to Jared, that's his name, Jared, entrance to Enterprise guy house, and she passed out. Well, he allowed her to come in and pass out on the couch. So she's waking up, like, it is straight realism right there, with your eyes all blurry, like wondering what the hell. That was me. She was bombed, and she looked so hit, so toe up, that her bangs and her hair was just everywhere. Her dress was halfway up, the blanket was just out. She woke up like, what the, like, where am I, whatever. And here comes Mr. Fine Ass Enterprise guy. Let's take a moment for Mr. Enterprise guy. He is fine, okay? Not just his looks. The fact that he's super sweet to her, he's hardworking, obviously has his own place. Just because he didn't have a degree like she did, she dropped him, but he treated her really nice, and their chemistry was really good. Did I mention he fine? With his tattoos? And I didn't even know he had a body, because I swear the first couple episodes he was on, he looked this scrawny. But now he has a little tight black t-shirt on, his little muscles. Anyway, so, you know, she's acting all nonchalant, like nothing happened, whatever. She's walking over there like, oh my God, thank you, you know, for, taking care of me or whatever. He was like, yeah, it's not like you gave me a choice. She's like, okay, so he just cut it off. He was like, first of all, okay, we're not going to do this. Like, I understand you want to be friends, that's fine. But you want some, I don't know what kind of shit you want. He didn't say shit, I'm saying shit. I don't know what kind of shit you want or whatever. You're trying to play games, and I'm not for that. And I love that. I respect a person that, if you know there's a big ass whale/elephant in the room, you're not going to play me and have no small chat. No, let's go cut straight to the chase, and let's talk about what the hell's going on. You know, she's trying to laugh it off or whatever. But hello, there's an elephant in the room. So she was like, oh my God, I apologize. I was stupid. I was just in my own little world or whatever. And she was like, I did really like you too. So he like kept eating this, because they were sitting down eating cereal. So he just kept eating the cereal, acting like he was ignoring her. She's like, all right, you know what? I made an ass of myself. Let me get out of here. So he gets up, and then he pushes the cereal box for her to come eat some cereal. See, I think that's like the most adorable trait of a man, where he mad at you. Okay, he mad at you. But you took it in, you acknowledged your fault, you apologize, and he instantly is over it. Okay, maybe a little bit not over it, but he still tried to, let things go naturally back to normal. So she sits down, he was like, she's like, oh, starting getting all giddy, and he's like, don't smile, you ain't getting no milk for the cereal. That part was funny. He's like, you ain't getting no milk. So they sit down, and he's like, oh, so what you gonna do today? She was like, oh, errands, I'm running errands, whatever. He's like, oh, you need a ride? Now, first of all, I just thought about it. I just realized right now, why would she need a ride when she drove to your house in the first place? I just thought about that. All of a sudden, right after he said you need a ride, that nigga was riding that shit out of her against the wall, with her hair all messed up, breath probably stinking, still smell like last night's alcohol. He was getting it in, and they showed his butt. Nice butt. The butt isn't as structured as Daniel, but his butt was nice. He was like, oh, you got some errands? You still got errands to go? She's like, no. Oh my God. I can't even describe to you how that shit was just ridiculous. Because they're dirty talking and getting it on, like, rough. Like, I'm like, yes. I thought something was blossoming there. So now Molly and Jared are back talking again. Next day, she's calling up Issa on the phone, letting her know what was going on. She was actually cooking him a meal. And, of course, Issa's super happy that they're talking again or whatever. And so she's like, yeah, we talked it out. And she was like, y'all fucked. Just like a best friend would do. Like, bitch, yeah, I ain't talked. I fucked. That's why everything back to normal. Like, fucking makes everything better. Typical society. So, he arrives for their second date night. He had a little champagne bottle. She made the food. She was like, hey. He was like, hey. Man, the way he would look at each other, I knew they were about to get it on again. And damn straight, they got it on again. He was hitting it from the back, like boom, 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 some rough neck stuff. Lo and behold, boom, 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 hitting it from the back, talking dirty. He was like, oh, you try to play me? She's like, boom, 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 pump, pump, pump. You try to play me? She was like, stay focused. That's some shit I would do, because there's times when you want to dirty talk, then there's times you really don't want to talk. You just want that breathing sound. That's it. So after the deed is done, now they sitting down eating, drinking, walking to the couch. They about to share secrets. And like, it does, bring up a discussion of how much do you tell. Yeah, we slept together, whatever, a couple times now, but how much do you tell already? You're still getting to know each other, which I feel like is such an ironic thing to put in two phrases to put in the same time. We had sex twice, but we still getting to know each other. That freaking kills me. I'm still getting to know you, but yet I was comfortable to get naked and have sex with you, but I don't know you. It's so weird. So they start trading off secrets. She says, she did coke in college. She messed with a girl, and then she slept with her professor. Some serious stuff. So he goes in and says, he messed with his professor too. She was married. And then he started saying, she was like, oh, that's nothing. Go on. And then he says, oh, well, like you said, when you're younger, you experience stuff or whatever. And she was like, experience stuff like what? And he starts telling her his encounter with a guy. He's, one night I was drunk or whatever. But then after I did it, I realized, that's not me. It was a long time ago. I'm in that. She was like, did what? You're not into what? He's like, oh. So he basically starts telling her the story of how he was drunk one night, got caught up with a dude, and the dude gave him oral. He didn't do anything back. They didn't have sex. He gave him oral, and next day he was not into it. So she started asking him 1,001 questions, like, okay, so you're bi? And he's like, no, I'm straight. Like, immediately when it was done, I'm like, it's not for me. She's like, okay, immediately in like 1 second, or you did it a couple more times? He was like, no, relax, one time, just oral, and straight. She's like, all of a sudden it's weird. Like, I'm reverting the question to myself. Would I still talk to him knowing the fact that he got head from a guy, but it was a long time ago, and he's saying he's not gay? And that is like one of the wonder of the world type questions where people really be asking themselves, okay, what makes me gay? Or what is gay? Like, there's a lot of down low guys who say they're not down low because they give, they don't receive. Or those who just receive but don't give. So it's just like everyone has their own definition of gay, but there's only one definition of homosexual, that you completely and sexually and mentally are attracted to the same sex. And I feel like it's kind of putting that person already in a very judgy state for that other individual. I feel like one sexual encounter, no matter how weird, outlandish, or opposite than what you can do, that's all it is an encounter. People get curious and do things. Okay, that does not mean they're going to completely alter their lives or lifestyle for that one encounter. If it is, that's a decision that they would have made a long time ago by having those same encounters over and over and over again.